Get ready to crush it. Crush it.
Yeah.
This is the Crush It Podcast with Matt and Mason.
Welcome back for another episode.
What just happened to your voice?
I don't know. I did what you do. I did. Welcome back to another episode of the Crush It Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm your host,
Yep.
Matt Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. Mason Burchett. Where
me.
you been?
I've been here
Okay.
the whole time. And so we'll give it a little disclaimer.
Quite literally, because we're in your office right
Yeah, I was going to say we're in my office, and so we'll give a disclaimer because my family's home. So there's a 99% chance you're going to hear children screaming at some point.
Disclaimer on what he just said. He didn't disclaim his family. Gosh. You should choose your words.
Okay.
Use your words. Choose them more carefully.
Okay.
But hey, here we are.
Yep.
Got another episode.
Okay.
Cracking out.
Okay.
We're pretty excited. Don't know if that's the right term, but it is cracked. We have cracked open. We've cracked the top.
Disclaimer number 2.
We've cracked the top.
We are
to
not
another
cracking
episode.
out.
Man.
Do not call law enforcement.
All of a sudden, we got a whole new slew of followers.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
But hey,
All right.
hey, how you been?
Good. So we've got a nice little episode lined up for today.
I think so.
Yeah.
Something we've been talking about for a while.
Yes.
The topic here, we're able to get a guest on last time, so it postponed this one.
That was fun.
That was a good episode. Good episode. Really excited about some guests we've got coming up.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be
and
good.
some new events
Ooh, what did you?
that we've got scheduled.
Pretty excited about getting that out. We'll that's going to be a full on video, right?
Yep.
We'll do a
Yeah,
promo
we'll,
video.
We'll make
on
some
that and
announcements on that.
throw that out. Very cool. So, had a thought a while back, which was, for hopefully this doesn't, nobody loses any confidence in us. But the reality is most of what we talk about it comes from all the people we follow.
Okay.
And, we pull information from, we do these reaction videos. We've got these guys that we follow that we have a lot of respect for, confidence in. We listen to them, and we develop our own ideas, our own opinions, and adapt what we want to into our lives.
Okay.
And I forget who I was listening to, but they made a statement not really along these lines, but they made a statement about wasting. About, and we talk a lot about waste. We've done a couple episodes on waste.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking, and I ended up turning off the podcast.
Some people think all of our episodes have been wasted.
That's true, but we don't listen to them. They don't listen to us.
Right.
We don't listen to them. It's an agreement we have. But I started thinking about the difference in waste, spend, and invest.
Okay.
And I immediately called you
Yep.
and was like, hey, here's a thought. Because that's normally what we do. One of us has an idea.
That's typically how this works.
We call each other, and the other one's like, hey, what about this? What about this? We bounce things off of each other. But in almost every area of life, we can really narrow it down to we're doing one of those three things.
Okay.
We're either wasting it, we're spending it, or we're investing it.
True.
So I'm gonna just read super basic Google definitions of those three words, and then we're gonna just have a little conversation about some things in our life and the difference in wasting, spending, and investing.
All right. Hit me with it.
Sound good? So to waste, to expend carelessly,
Okay.
extravagantly, or to no purpose. That's what it means to waste.
Okay.
Pretty good. To spend, to pay out in buying or hiring goods or services. Super simple.
Okay.
Right? You're spending it,
Yep.
giving it to get something, right?
Got it.
To invest is to expend with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into a plan, share, or property, or by using it to develop a commercial venture.
Okay.
So,
Sounds like a really modern definition.
yeah, it does. But to invest, you're putting something in
Yep. And expecting
with
a
the
return.
expectation of achieving a profit.
Are you having a stroke today?
I am. I'm having a lot of issues talking. But I would say that profit doesn't necessarily have to mean financial.
Okay.
You get out what you put into stuff.
Okay.
So let's talk.
So to kind of dumb those definitions down, you've got waste, which is basically giving something for no purpose whatsoever. You've got spend, which is giving something in exchange for something. And then you've got invest, which is giving something in exchange for a greater return.
A greater return, probably down the road.
Right.
More of a
delayed,
long play.
Larger return.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. So let's dive first into probably two of the most obvious ones, but we got to hit them.
Okay.
Let's start with time.
Oh.
Okay, let's start with time.
The old time.
Old time. So we know that time is our greatest resource. Right?
Yes. They're not making any more.
They're not making any more of it. I have the same amount that you do.
Not necessarily.
From a perspective of minutes and hours in a day.
Right.
Okay? Now,
do you love how
much,
immediately?
Just had to shoot that down because that's actually where I was going with it.
Okay.
But we say that we've all got the same amount of hours in the day with the same minutes in an hour, blah, 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 right?
What's that song they sing at high school graduation?
I don't know. Don't care. But anyway, the way that I can have more time than you or you have more time than me depends greatly on if we're wasting our time.
Okay.
Spending our time or investing our time. I like the. Did you plan those sound effects? That was nice. So
I don't remember who it was that was talking about this.
Me, just a minute.
No. That was talking about everybody has time. Like, oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah.
You've got time for it.
It's a priority thing.
It's a matter of priority.
Yep.
You've got time for whatever you make time for.
Yes.
If you don't have time to play with your kids,
right,
it's because you have used that time elsewhere.
Yes.
Or plug whatever the activity is.
Exactly.
It's not that you don't have time; it's that you're choosing to do something else with it.
Yeah. So
are you wasting it, spending it, or investing?
Right. So let's get nasty. Let's get nasty with it.
With it.
How do we, as humans, waste our time?
Are you wanting some examples?
Yes, give me examples of the ways that we waste time.
Social media,
100%,
by and large.
Yep.
There are few. I think there are probably few meaningful interactions on social media these days. Ways we waste our time. Television.
Yes,
probably
absolutely.
A waste of time.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You're leaving it all up to me.
Yeah, I am. Well, I guess it would also go back to, depending on a lot of individuals, different hobbies, you could say are a waste. But actually, I would probably say that probably goes more into spending.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about spending time. Because
let's go back to waste, because to hit that definition, when you waste your time, you're giving your time up with absolutely nothing
purpose
in return.
Yeah.
No purpose.
Yeah. So
no value.
Let's talk about one, and I've been open with this. One of my biggest struggles, and it's a waste, sleep.
Okay.
There is an element of necessary healthy sleep.
Right.
But once you get beyond that,
there is a point where sleep becomes wasteful.
And it doesn't at any time sleep, and this is an interesting point, just thought of this. Sleep is an investment. Mm-hmm. You are investing your time by sleeping, because a lot of people mess themselves up by not getting enough sleep.
For sure.
Right? I've been guilty of that in the past, trying to just go and do stupid stuff and blah, 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 blah. But there is a point where, when it comes to sleep, you go from investing immediately to waste.
I would say you go from spending for spending, because you get an immediate return on sleep. You are exchanging your time for something immediately in return.
But you're investing in your body long term.
Okay. It's multifaceted.
Yeah, I would say. But it quickly takes that 180 to waste.
It can quickly become wasteful. This is a scriptural element. I mean, the scripture is very big on that slumber what is it? Slumber will come on you like a thief in the night is the terminology that it uses.
Yeah.
It'll rob you of your time. Right. You have to have an element of it, but there's a point where it becomes theft.
Right.
And you start wasting time.
Right. And so waste, I think that we can all find ways in our 24-hour days that we probably waste a little bit of time.
Oh, sure.
Some of us way worse than.
You can look. There's a on your iPhone. There's a
don't
screen time.
to see that.
It's not an app. It's in your settings. It's called Screen Time, and it will literally show you how much time you spent on apps.
Yeah.
During the day, and it is sobering, my friends.
Very sobering.
Sobering. You will quickly see how much time you're wasting.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you go on to spending your time.
Okay.
Right. So I think this really changes for depending on who it is.
Sure.
Right. Not all spending of your time is bad.
Nope. I agree with that.
We're not saying that wasting and spending is bad. Investing is the only
you spend
way.
money on totally necessary
There
things.
yet. We're not there. We're not talking about money. We're talking about time.
As an
Money's
example.
next. Okay. Just calm down.
Okay.
Hold your
Okay. Okay.
But spending time, right? So now we use the term, and I'm getting a little bit ahead, but we use the term spending time with your family. That time is invested when you're with your family. So taking that terminology, that's just a term that we use. But as far as spending time, that would probably fall into the habits category.
Okay. You know what?
Habits, not habits.
Hobbies.
I'm
gonna back up to what you said there.
Okay.
I think you can spend time with your family, and I think you can invest time with your family.
Okay.
And those are probably two different things.
They probably are.
Huh? Right? If the only time you ever spend with your family is watching movies, you're probably just spending a lot of time with your family.
Right. Which is still good.
Which is not bad.
Right.
But if you are, I don't know, having devotions with your family,
Right.
Occasionally being intentional about gathering around the dinner table and actually having conversation with your family, I would do that more as investment.
Well, I would also say too, though, that any time spent, I would argue that it is somewhat of an investment.
Okay.
When you're especially when you're talking about the relationship between you and your wife or between you and your children, because a lot of kids as they get older, the time spent with them was the investment that either did or didn't make a positive difference in their life. You know, the example you gave of, sitting watching a movie, is that an investment watching a movie? No. But the time that you took out of your busy day to sit next to your kid to watch a movie that you probably, if you're watching it with your kid, you probably don't want to watch it. It's probably a movie they want to watch.
Yeah.
That's an investment in them because they know, hey, my mom, my dad, even aunt, uncle, grandparent, whoever it is, they took the time out of their day to just sit with me.
Yeah.
And so I would argue that it's probably
probably
hand in hand when it comes to being with family.
That's probably fair. I think actually thinking through you being present could probably change that, because the truth is you could probably be with your family and be wasting time with your family.
True.
Right?
True.
Everybody else is conversing and you've got your nose in your phone. That might be wasting time with your family.
Absolutely. Definitely wouldn't be an investment into your family just by sitting on the couch next to them.
Right. So I probably having that presence of mind is a good. Am I investing in my family
actually
right now,
investing?
or am I just wasting time?
Absolutely. That's a good point. That's a good point.
All right.
I like that.
Sorry, I got off the rails.
No, I like that because honestly, this is kind of something that, as all of our listeners know, we don't really go through each point of our stuff.
We like to talk it out.
We like to talk it out and kind of figure out and change our views as we go a little bit. And so I like that dialogue because, we're both big family men.
Right.
And that's something that means a lot to us. And
You're bigger than I am.
Yes,
but.
that's true in multiple ways.
Okay.
But I am a bigger family man than Mason. I think we just admitted that.
I have to put an explicit
on
sign
the
on this.
stop.
Okay.
Stop. But the fact is that I think that when it comes to that time with family, you do probably have to be very aware and very careful. Am I with them and wasting it because I'm not mentally engaged and present with them? Is it a time to spend or is it time to invest? Because one of the greatest returns you get out of life is investments you make in your family.
Here's a thought.
Especially your children.
The difference between wasting, spending, and investing is, are you attending or are you engaging?
That's good.
Are you just attending this event with your family, this moment with your family?
Right.
Or are you engaged
in it? Yeah, that's really good.
Or with business or with this person you're interacting with.
So before I know we did kind of get off run a little rabbit trail there, but before we move on from time, because we got several other things to talk about here.
We're running out of time.
Hey, we want to make sure we
want to invest this time wisely.
So is there anything else you want to add to the time side, whether it comes from wasting, spending, or investing your time?
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of times where
Yep.
Like reading to me is a big time investment.
Yes.
Right. And like you were saying earlier, hobbies, are those a waste of time or are those spending your time? I think I would consider that a spend. I think hobbies are a good spend of your time. They're not wasting.
Right.
I like to play the piano. I like to play stringed instruments.
Yeah.
I'm not really investing because I'm not trying to get any better at them, but there are ways that I clear my head.
Yeah.
Which
is probably
it requires my focus
for your mental health.
Yeah,
probably.
I was going to say
there.
it requires my focus, and it kind of is just a dull moment. I can enjoy the music.
Right.
It's probably a spend for me because it's a hobby.
Right.
I don't really consider investing. When I sit down to focus on a book, like I'm reading a John Maxwell book right now, when I sit down, I'm very intentional about I want to soak information out of this and use it later.
Right.
I would consider that investing.
Yeah. So, and two, maybe hit a little note here, and we may talk a little bit more about this when we get into the money side of it on the next point. But I'm not so sure, and if you decide to,
My kid just broke into our office.
It's fantastic. I love it. You may disagree with this, so we may have a conversation.
Oh,
here.
good.
But I'm not so sure, okay? So I'm not taking a hard stance yet.
Okay.
But I'm not so sure that... Actually, I think I am taking a hard stance. Your job, your 9 to 5 that people call,
sure.
Your 9 to 5.
Okay.
I don't know that in most cases that's investing. I think it's spending. You're spending your time. Is it necessary? Yes. I believe that the difference when it comes to time in your job, I would say that your 9 to 5 is where you're spending your time. Your 5 to 9 is where you're investing your time.
I would disagree with you.
After work. Okay.
I would disagree with that.
Okay. Explain.
I think that scenario can certainly be true.
Yeah.
But, I spent 9 years of my life building a career at a company, at a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it was certainly an investment.
Okay.
I spent and invested an enormous amount of time to move up there because I had a career path. Mm-hmm. That career enabled me to do things in life now that I would not have been able to do had I not invested my time wisely there.
Yeah.
I think I could have just spent my time, but I think I chose to invest my time.
Okay.
And actually do something more.
Okay. So I think you make a great point there. I think it probably depends on the intentions and the mindset of the person.
Of course it
goes back to
we
the
need
mindset.
to rename this podcast Mindset.
Yeah, that's so true because I feel like what I said, honestly, I was thinking more of the masses, like most people.
I don't disagree that you're probably right about most people.
But you definitely can't make it a rule because what you said is absolutely spot on. You could have spent those 9 years just spending your time, you chose to invest it And it has set you've made a lot of connections. You've set yourself up through that time investment.
Yeah.
To be able to, it's opened up doors for you to be on multiple other podcasts
For sure.
and make connections that you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I think honestly, the rule applies to any activity. We could call it your family. We could call it your job. You could plug really anything into this and make it a waste, spend, or invest. Probably almost anything based off of your mindset.
Right.
You can go to your job and waste your time there.
Yeah.
You can go there and you can spend time there. You could go there. You can invest time there.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about with your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more here in just a minute when we talk about another one of our points. But moving on, let's move on to the other big obvious one.
Okay.
We talked about time, but then you've got money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And even though time is our greatest resource, money is probably where people get hung up the most.
Yeah.
When it comes to waste, spend, and invest.
For sure.
Now, let's start with the middle one, right? Spend. There's an element of spending money that's necessary.
Of course.
Right? You have to live, right? Are you
your light bill?
Is it an investment to pay your house, your electricity and your insurance? Is it an investment? Not technically,
no.
But you're spending money to survive.
Yeah. So
right,
there's
buying
an element.
food,
There's an element of theoretical invest to spending. You can get something beneficial in return.
Right.
But it's probably not growing.
Correct.
At a large rate, which is what we're talking about when we say invest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, too, just to go back to time, you're investing to get more of whatever it is.
Sure.
You're investing it to get more of the same.
Yeah.
If you invest your time the right way, you're setting yourself up to have more time in the future.
More available
right?
time.
More available
Correct.
time.
Yes.
We talk all
or
the
to
time.
give
It's
your
not
children
about,
more available
give your
time.
children more available time. It's not always about like everybody's like, oh, you're so obsessed with money. You're obsessed with money. No, I'm obsessed with freedom.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with making choices.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with having the ability and the freedom to decide what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, and how I'm going to do it.
Money is a tool.
Money's a tool, right? So when you're thinking about, am I investing time, is what I'm doing with my time making it possible for me to have more available time,
right.
or like you said, for my children to have more available time in the future. Same with money.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm investing my money, my goal is to have more available money in the future to do the same thing.
No one wants
rinse and repeat.
No one wants money. They want what money brings you.
Absolutely.
And nobody cares about having a piece of paper with a picture of the dead president on it.
Right.
It's there's nothing very cool about that.
It's not worth it.
It's what it gets you. Some people are obsessed with stuff.
Yeah.
They want stuff, and money will get them that stuff.
Yeah.
Some people want freedom, and they know that money will grant them that.
Right.
It's not the actual dollar that's doing it. It's the time that you traded
right.
in exchange for that. It's the money is the medium.
Yeah.
That brings those things to you.
Absolutely. So, there's a lot of ways that we can talk about that we waste money.
Sure.
There are a lot of ways to waste.
Absolutely. So, the fun fact, I'm actually writing my next book right now. My next installment of the antithetical series. So my first one was how to make sure you never get promoted.
Right.
The next one will be
I nailed that.
how to make sure you always live paycheck to paycheck. And so it's essentially this. It's a booklet on personal finance.
Okay.
And it talks a lot about things you're wasting your money on.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you want to always live paycheck to paycheck? Waste your money on these things. That is popular.
All right. So give us a few of them. Don't give away too much. It's in your book.
Fast food.
Yeah. Ouch.
Fast food. Most people, and I can't remember the exact number, but I know it was very close to this. The average American is spending over $300 a month on fast food. Do you know that?
Okay. Here's my argument. Let's take health out of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's cheaper to eat fast food than it is to buy groceries.
That's false. Completely and totally false.
Okay. For the normal family.
No, it's not. It's completely. You're totally wrong.
That's okay.
You're absolutely
Would you like
wrong.
to see my bank account?
Dude, then I don't know what you're buying at the grocery store. But you can
Okay, if you go by nothing but ramen noodles and pinto beans, okay.
No. Now you're buying. If all you do when you go grocery shopping is buy ready to eat meals, then yeah, that's fast food. If you go grocery shopping and buy things to prepare, you will absolutely get way more for your money.
Okay, hang on. You're saying that it's cheaper,
yes,
to buy groceries and cook from scratch,
yes,
than it is to buy fast food or
1,000%. Do you know what the average markup is for restaurants on their food?
I don't care.
300%.
I don't care what they're paying for the food. I care what I'm paying.
Their markup is almost 300%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
You go to Zaxby's, you'll pay.
But they're also buying in bulk, which I cannot do.
You'll go
where?
Zaxby's. You'll pay $9 for 3 chicken tenders and a plate of fries.
Okay. What do you consider fast food?
I just said that. Zaxby's.
Okay. Okay, so you're a higher tier fast food? Because, yes, it's fast food, but when...
You can't hardly get a fast food meal for less than $9.
Oh, dear God. Okay. We'll just disagree on this one.
Dude, how are you crazy? I can buy a whole bag of frozen chicken tenders for $5 or $6.
Where?
The grocery store.
After we record this episode, we'll go find a whole bag.
Probably 7 or 8.
Okay. He started.
But it's still a whole bag.
Okay. A whole bag is probably 7 or 8 chicken.
Now, are you, dude? What planet are you from?
Okay. Let me tell you something. A family pack, because I've done it recently. A family pack of frozen chicken tenders. You're looking at a solid $12, $13.
Okay, that's still going to be way better unit price.
Okay, and you're only getting the chicken. I've got 5 people to feed.
Okay.
Wow, this is not the direction we expected.
No, it's not. But I am looking up chicken tender prices right now. It's by the pound. It's not. I don't even tell you how many are actually in there.
What that means is he saw numbers that he don't like, so he's trying to break it down in a way that he don't have to say it.
This is a $7 bag of Tyson Perfectly Crispy chicken strips. But it doesn't tell
Okay,
me.
wait. A minute ago, you said that the frozen food, that was still fast food. You classified that as fast food earlier.
Ready to eat, like Hungry Man meals.
You classified that as fast food.
No.
You didn't.
Like Hungry Man meals. Those are ready to eat meals. Ready to eat meals. You pop them in the microwave and you got a little 3-course meal there. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you're picking and choosing what fits your agenda.
You can it is common. It is absolutely fact that you will get cheaper food at the grocery store than you will from fast food. Fast food is a waste of your money. Undoubtedly. Read my new book. You'll see all the data. I've got references for everybody. You're totally wrong here. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. But just for the record,
you're wrong.
It's cheaper to cook from scratch.
Yes.
Than it is to buy fast food.
100%. Absolutely, yes, it is. It's significantly cheaper.
Okay.
Significantly cheaper.
Okay.
Significantly cheaper.
Okay. All right. That's why college kids cook at home all the time, because it's so cheap. Anyway.
Right.
Okay. All right. So
that's a way they waste.
Okay. And moving on.
We may have to edit some of that down.
Nah.
Do you still want my opinion, or do you think I'm just completely oblivious?
I knew you were an idiot before we started this episode
or anything.
No. No. Other ways that money is wasted.
Other ways that money is wasted. I would say subscriptions.
Yes.
Most people are subscribed to 4 different video services these days.
Yeah.
And do you really need? You got Netflix, you got Amazon Prime, you got Disney Plus, you got.
We'll see
Peacock, whatever else is out.
What happens is you have to rotate because of boycotts.
Right.
Depends on who you're mad at the moment.
Right. Or whoever's carrying the office.
Right. Hey, there we go. Shout out to Peacock for bringing that back.
Honestly, though, this is the subscription age, and most people don't even know how. There are apps that find out how many needless subscriptions you've got these days.
Yeah, 100%.
things like that. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
Those are a couple of ways that people are wasting money.
So there's a lot of ways, and I guess I would say if it's not necessary to your day-to-day life, it's probably a waste.
Yes.
Right. Now there's an element of waste that everybody's going to have. Right. They're going to have their fun money, whatever, blah blah blah.
That's
fair.
Spend.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could probably get.
I would say if it's hurting you, even if you don't feel.
I don't know. I feel like that opens a pretty wide door for people to be like, well, it doesn't hurt me to pay that extra, blah blah blah. I don't. It's still waste. What could you do? What could you do with that money if you took that same amount of money from waste and put it into invest? Then you're looking at a different ballgame.
Sure. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, because like here's a scenario.
Okay.
You may have the opportunity to buy a really nice car for $10,000. All right, and you've got the money to do it, but instead you finance a new Lincoln for $70,000 that cripples your budget. You wasted that money.
You wasted it.
You needed a car.
Right.
And spending money on a car is not wasteful.
It's not a bad
but
thing.
the way you chose to do it was wasteful.
Yeah. That's a good scenario.
I
agree with that. I agree with that. So a lot of people, we all have ways that we waste money. So, are you wasting that money? Spending it. Spending is a necessity.
Yep.
You have to spend money to survive, to live. But there should always be an element of investing.
Yes. So,
and I like your view on investing.
Thank you.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, my principles with money are threefold, and I guess it would be the antithesis to waste is when you get money, you give a little, you spend a little, you save it. Right. So this is the principles I teach my kids. When they get money, we're going to give a little money, whether that be put some of it in your Sunday school plate. We're going to spend a little so you can buy a toy or whatever. And then we're going to save a little bit of this and we're going to put it in the piggy bank. All right. And that teaches the principle of investing. And then that just grows as obviously as your income is.
Do you pay
higher.
your kids interest on that?
I do. 401 dad.
Do you really?
Anything they save, I'll match.
Nice.
Yep. That's the principle of investing.
I like that.
Yep. Learned that from the old Dave. He had a 401 Dave. I call it 401 dad.
Okay.
Yep. And, the principle is when they get, of age, and I haven't determined that age, might be 16, might be 18, whatever they've decided to keep, I will match.
Yeah.
And they might get a really nice car.
Well, that's funny because I've actually, I've told my kids that, and I actually got this from a family member. I don't know if they'd want it to be put out there, but anyway, I got this from somebody where, and I have now told my kids, hey, whatever car you want, whatever you save, I'll match it.
Yep.
And so it has I've seen it kind of change their mindset
just
a little bit.
Oh, okay. Maybe I will save a little bit more.
What I wasn't prepared for is for them constantly trying to figure out new ways to make money.
Right.
And so they're like, hey, Dad, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? How about this? What about this? What about this? But they're in that mindset now of, okay, if I want this, I have to invest, to save that. And so that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So those principles, they just compound as an adult, right?
Yeah.
So as your income comes in, I recommend giving. I think it's a good thing to let go of some money.
Absolutely.
Because it's hard and it's good for the soul to give to people who need it. So I do recommend giving some of that money, whether you're tithing or you donate a little bit to a charity or, help a widow or something. I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And then spend it because you have to pay, you have to keep your lights on. You got to pay to put gas in your car, which is a big expense these days. Shout out to Joe Biden. Then you need to invest.
Yeah.
And I think you should invest at least 10% of everything you make.
And I think I would say, too, because we've talked a little bit about, a little bit of waste is very normal for people. But if you're not investing, you need to cut all the waste.
Yep.
If you can't can't afford to invest, then you can't afford to waste.
Yes.
I think it's probably a good principle.
Yes.
Right. And so whether that's cutting out, and I know this is so cliche, but whether that's cutting out your Starbucks and investing your Starbucks money,
100%.
that is something where I would agree with you. It's cheaper to do it at home than it is the
No.
Shut up.
No. A jar of coffee is just as expensive.
You done? But anyway, you should be investing, right? Sure. So those are the two biggest things. Those are the two main things: time and money.
Yep.
Right. And I know we're starting to get a little lengthy here.
We are.
But a couple things, and we can kind of lump these together and see what else you want to add. But we talked about time. We talked about money. Wasting, spending, or investing your talents and abilities.
Oh, brother.
That's huge, man.
Whew.
Like we could dig in so deep with that.
Give a few examples.
And then also your network. That was another thing that I had jotted down.
Let's hit that talent. Give a few examples of
of wasting
a talent.
Ooh. So and we just did a reaction video with John Maxwell on confidence. Right. So if you haven't listened to that,
we reacted to John Maxwell's video.
Yes,
unfortunately, we didn't do it with him.
We didn't do it with him.
Would have been kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Sorry for the terminology there, but that would have been cool. But yes, we reacted to his video, and so many talents and abilities, I think, are wasted because of a lack of confidence.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
I want an example. Give me an example
of gosh, I mean, for me personally, it would be a sales ability. It would be an ability to make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
The ability to lift somebody's spirits.
Sure.
As small as that may seem, the ability to make a difference in somebody else's life just by a kind word being there. But we lack the confidence and think we're going to sound stupid. Is it, and let's go back into our church days. Your ability to play an instrument, your ability to sing, your ability to speak in front of people, your ability to lead.
Yeah.
Some people have a natural ability to lead, to speak.
I would agree with it.
Captivate people's attention. And if you are not using that the right way, the way God intended when he gave you that talent or that ability, then you are wasting it.
Yeah, that was, you started off with sales, I think, because you had yourself.
Yeah.
And that was what my example was going to be. Like, I would say, knowing you, like if you came to me and was like, hey man, I just decided to live just a normal life. I just got a run of the mill job down here at the factory.
Yeah.
Doing whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with
nothing
factory
wrong
work,
with it.
But I would be like, bro, you're wasting your talents, dude.
Yeah.
You have this natural ability to be an excellent salesman. You relate with these people. You're wasting that to me would be you're wasting your talent.
How many times, how often, and hopefully this resonates with some people who listen to this, but I've heard so many times people will be like, yeah, so this is my job. This is what I do for a living, blah, 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 blah. I do this on the side. I do graphic design on the side. Man, I just love doing it. It's my passion. It's what I do. Well, what are you doing to grow that? Well, nothing, I'm not really that good at it, but, and things like that. That's just one example, whether it be something like web design, thinking about what you're very talented at, things like the graphic design, web design, advertising, those things.
Yeah.
And people will, because they love it, they'll go to their desk, their office, whatever, when nobody else is around, and they'll do these things because they're passionate about them and they're good at them, but they never take that step to spend or invest those talents to actually do something of them. So essentially, you're wasting a talent that God gave you by not actually taking that step.
Yeah, and I would say you waste you can recognize talents when they're raw. You've heard of raw talent. That doesn't mean that you're automatically great at something.
Right.
You could be a raw sales talent and be a crappy salesperson.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you have a talent means that it should be cultivated, that it should be invested in.
Yeah.
If you have a natural ability, if people are naturally inclined to follow you, maybe you've got the demeanor to be a great leader.
Yeah.
And to me, if you are not taking the time to read from people who know the John Maxwell's, the Dave Ramsey's, the Stephen Covey's, these guys who wrote the books on leadership.
Yeah.
If you're not investing to cultivate that talent, you're wasting it.
Absolutely.
And so I would think that. I think if you know that, okay, and who was it that was telling me, that was talking about this? I'm trying to think. I think it was Doug Wilson. He was actually talking about people in church, saying a lot of times the problems you recognize may be God trying to tell you you've got a gift to feel that.
That's good.
Oh, wow, this could have been organized better. Maybe you have the gift of administration.
Then maybe you should have done that.
Maybe you're good at organizing because you recognize that deficiency.
Yeah.
So maybe if you've recognized these talents or these particular interests that you think you might be good at, you should invest into cultivating that and see if it turns out to be a real talent.
And I think it's important to note here that it's not a lack of. I think somebody died.
I think somebody just crashed and burned in there. Yes.
It's not a sign of pride or a lack of humility when you start chasing these talents that you're good at. You know what I'm saying? I think that holds a lot of people back because they're like, "Oh, I'm nothing. I'm nobody." Blah blah blah. And
right.
You know, it's not a lack of humility to say, "Hey, I'm good at this."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I was listening to it was a marriage thing, I think, from Christ Church up in Moscow, and the speaker was talking. He was saying, "Don't constantly say that, oh, you know, my wife's a much better spouse than I am, or she definitely got the better end of the deal. Your wife doesn't want to be married to a loser. Like, you know, like if you're trying and you're doing a good job and you're really putting forth the effort, you don't even brag on yourself all the time.
Right. But stop putting yourself down.
You're putting her down when you put you're saying that she was dumb enough to marry you.
It's so true.
That's so true. I think it comes back to the confidence thing.
Yeah,
it's not arrogance, it's confidence.
It does.
To cultivate those
things.
And
also just hit this in passing, not to go too deep, but it's also a waste of your talents if you're using them the wrong way. You know? Because I think that's something that needs to be said probably in the sales world. Because the reason that a lot of times sales has a bad reputation is because a lot of people have used them the wrong way to take advantage of people.
Yeah.
And that goes far beyond sales. But if you're using them to hurt people, maybe it is for gain for yourself.
Yeah.
But as a result, you're hurting other people. Then you're definitely wasting those God-given talents and abilities.
Yeah, I think, usually if you're a good salesperson, then it's because you have a high degree of emotional intelligence and you're able to read people. That's probably a key part of sales. Personality, I think, plays a lot into that as well. But if you're able to really intelligently read people, then you have a responsibility to do something with that, like you were just saying. And you can use that to, if you're a confident person, to instill confidence in that person, like we were watching on that Maxwell video.
Yeah.
Or you can use that to take advantage of that person. Yeah.
And that goes back to, and we've talked about it, everybody talks about the whole Wolf of Wall Street thing, that sell me this pen. Can you sell me this pen, sell me this pen? And I had a guy do that to me one time when I went in for an interview. And he said, sell me this pen. And I said, I can't. And he looked at me weird and I said, I don't know anything about that pen.
Right. Or if you need a pen.
I don't know if you need a pen. I don't know if that pen works.
Right.
I don't know if there's even any ink at all in that pen. Somebody might have removed the pen out of it.
Or are you in the market? Have you got 10 pens?
Yeah. And I looked at him and I said, somebody who can just sell you a pen, they're not a salesperson. They're a con artist.
Right.
Because if I can just convince you to buy anything, I don't care about what your needs are. I don't care about how this is going to affect you. I don't care how this is going to help you long-term, short-term. Then all I am is a con man.
Yeah.
A salesperson, they learn the product, that they're offering, they learn the customer, and they figure out how that is a good fit for one another, and then you offer the best solution. That's what a true salesperson is, not a con man.
Right. Yeah. Like when people come and I've worked a lot of trade shows and stuff in the metal roofing industry, and a lot of times they'll come up and say, well, why should I choose you over so-and-so? Why should I choose you over the competitor? And I'm like,
I don't know if you should.
I don't know if you should.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you need or exactly what you consider value.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if we are a good fit for you yet. We got to have a conversation.
Right. It might be better for you to get, if you're looking for the cheapest product in town, then I'm not. There is no reason you should choose me.
And honestly, people respect that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's a tactic, because they're like
wait a second,
because it takes the pressure off.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Like, no, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to find a solution to your problem.
Right.
And if that means that you sign on my dotted line,
great.
Right. If not, go find your solution.
And I think that's having pride in your talent, man. I mean, you
absolutely.
I'm here to give value.
Yeah.
I think that I have a value proposition. I'm not here to
because I want to help you long term. When you have more issues 5 years from now, 10 years from now,
when your brother-in-law
or when your brother-in-law has an issue, or your mom has an issue, or whatever, I want you giving my number.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to do with them? I'm going to see if I'm the right solution for the brother-in-law or the mom or the grandma or whatever the case is. And so making sure that you're using those talents and abilities the right way, I think is super important.
Waste, spend, invest. Boom. What are you doing?
What are you doing? I think that, and you know, we hit some major points here.
Yeah. There's a lot more we could have gone into.
There is. And I think throughout your day, I think we should probably all take a step back. Are we wasting? Are we spending? Or are we investing?
What's the WSI ratio on your life right now?
Why did you do that? Because I was thinking, I was like, okay, how am I going to pull out the WSI? And there you did. You hit it. T-shirts coming to you.